Hi guys, I've got a project here that I've been honestly procrastinating, trying to talk myself into working on. But I thought I would just get out here and show you what I need to do, and then that might be enough to get me to start working on it. So I'm standing here on the back half of my raised bed garden, where you may have seen on a past video that up until now I've had most of this covered with these recycled billboard tarps, just to keep the weeds under control until I have a plan or something. Um, and my initial plan was to replace the billboard tarps with these heavy duty landscaping material, which I actually put some of in my raised bed garden under the cedar chips at the end of last season. But this area, I don't plan on putting the cedar chips. I'm just going to cover it all and then burn holes and plant directly in the ground here. Although I do have this big pile of soil that I still need to use up. Plus, it's covering one of the tarps. So I'm thinking I'm going to put like down this uncovered space, like a 2 or 3 foot wide bed of soil. And then I'm going to come back with more of this landscaping material and cover that up and staple it down so that I'll have a nice bed to plant in that isn't just the flat soil that was here already, which may be good to plant in. I don't know. They did have a garden here. I've seen on like the Google Earth satellite view. I could see that in the past there were rows of in-ground gardens. It was pretty clear. So, and I've seen potatoes volunteer themselves in the middle of this space. So I know they were growing something here. So that's my plan. I think what I need to do first is measure out the next strip of landscaping cloth. So I have that ready to go before I start mounding soil over here. And then I'll be ready to cover it up and move on to the next strip. So anyway, now's the time to do this. We have some hot weather coming up again, and that is not my favorite conditions for working in the garden at all. And when I say hot, all I mean is like 83 degrees, but that's enough. It gets pretty warm when you're working on stuff like this outside. Right now, it's only 56 degrees, which is awesome, and that's my favorite for working in the garden. So I need to take advantage. Just start working on it. Okay, so the way I'm cutting this, instead of with scissors or an X-Acto knife, this stuff will fray really bad if you just cut it because it's like plastic woven together. So I have a butane torch that I'm just going to use to basically melt a line across. Let me just move this one. I don't want to cut into the other one. Got my hose, so in case I start any fires. So let's just get this ready. And there we go. Turn that off. Now I'm going to lug this back to the other end so I can start again. You might be wondering, why don't I just roll it back the other direction? Well, I learned from another YouTuber, Anna, that these lines don't line up right unless you have your cloth going the same direction from start to end. So it's better to just start from the same end every time you unroll it. So I'm moving this aside because, like I said, I'm going to add a row of um, raised bed soil that will go underneath this fabric. So another step before I put the soil down is I'm going to use this broad fork to just gently lift up just a little bit the soil along where I'm going to put the new soil to kind of like let some air in. It's not really compacted here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway because I have this, so why not? The grass right here, so You can see I'm just lifting it up a little, just to make like a couple of cracks in the soil, basically. Not tilling or anything like that. Well, I think I've changed my mind about this like 100 times, this space. Initially, I was going to just add more raised beds. When that wasn't happening this season. And then I was just going to keep it covered up. Nope. Then I was going to do the mounded soil beds. Then I was going to just ignore it, keep it covered up this year. And then I talked about putting an additional fruit tree orchard here. And then I went back to the mounded soil beds, but now I'm like, I don't think this is enough soil to even get me more than like one, maybe two of that kind of bed. And that would be weird. I would just have two lumps and then so I think I might just try to, because I need to get rid of that soil. It can't just stay there. I think I might just try to spread it out throughout this whole area and then do the cover up with landscape material and then just plant straight in the flat ground this year. I think that's what I'll do. What am I going to do about all this grass? I need a pitchfork. I need to get cattle panels out of my way. We have a tractor. The smart thing would be to use the tractor to scoop the soil, dump it, even use the tractor to spread it around. But I'm not comfortable driving the tractor, definitely not comfortable doing maneuvers like that. And my husband's working. So I'm shoveling. All right, now I've got some blood meal that I'm just going to sprinkle over the top with some extra nitrogen. Oops. I think that's all I have in me for today. I finished another whole row of the landscape material, but I still have a lot more to go. But hey, one a day is better than nothing. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you next time.